your alarm clock ringtone when you were deployed, because I love this story and it has stayed with me, and I just keep this in the back of my mind. But for one, all of us born 80s babies who grew up in the 90s, we were all secret Nickelback fans, and you couldn't talk about it out loud at high school because we got made fun of. I don't really know why everyone made fun of you if you liked Nickelback, but I did, so I guess come at me. But your ringtone was "If Today Was Your Last Day," and I want to toss it back to you, but you were walking with me through that, and you were sharing like the importance of that being a ringtone, but then you really posed this question of like, what would you do if it was your last day on earth, and mirrored that to what Jesus did with his last day on earth, because everyone knew, Jesus knew what his last day was. He knew what day he was going to make that ultimate sacrifice, and he knew from day one. So he walked with that for 30 plus years, knowing on this day, this is what is to be. This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm here.
Well, like I said, it almost seems kind of morbid, but at the time when I deployed to Iraq, and I'm a 70s baby. I was born in 70 and still grew up with that, but I'll be the first to admit, I love Nickelback, and I don't care. Come at me. I still listen to their music, and it is what it is. So I don't care. I've been in the Nickelback fan club since they really went mainstream and retro. You know, what I like is just good old-fashioned rock and roll. But I had downloaded and set up a ringtone, and of course, you know, when I could try and get sleep, popping melatonin from a Pez dispenser between missions, because I was working nights when most of the ops were going on, and we were really putting our eyes up, you know, monitoring the situation either on target for the guys that were on the ground. My alarm clock would go off usually around 12 noon in the afternoon. I'd be lucky if I could get back into my hooch by 6:30, 7 a.m.
Wow.
Try and get me a few hours of sleep. But by 12 o'clock, I would have that alarm go off to wake me up so I could get up, go to the gym, get some exercise PT in, go grab a quick bite to eat, and then get to where I needed to be to get ready for that day's missions, that night's missions, and things like that. But that was my alarm that would go off. It was the main chorus of "If Today Was Your Last Day." And it was my first deployment into a no-kidding combat zone. You know, I'd had multiple deployments, TDY. I deployed for Operation Enduring Freedom. Everybody else is going to Afghanistan. I deployed to Morone Air Base, Spain, and was helping to run the airfield in Europe. It was a stopover point for like all the fighter jet packages that would have to go in, stop, rest, spend the night, get up next day and fly over. All the heavies that were taking all the equipment back and forth, whether it was tanks and Humvees, whatever, those kind of deals. So my Enduring Freedom tour on my first deployment after 9/11 kicked off, it was pretty easy. I'm in Morone Air Base, Spain. Woohoo, party, right? So then I got deployed for Operation Iraqi Freedom, and I'm at this little forward operating location, appointed the Joint Task Force somewhere north of Baghdad. And definite hostile zone. And even though, like I said, I spent the majority of my time on the FOB, we were getting shelled and mortared every single day. I mean, multiple times a day. Sometimes you would know it, sometimes you wouldn't. There were a few times they were dangerously close. And I mean, more than enough, you felt the concussion waves, they knocked you down. 90% of the time, you didn't even know it. You know, you only knew that there was an attack because the command post would call up and say, "This is the command post, all clear, all clear." I'm like, I didn't even know we were under attack. Oh, sorry. So you got pretty cavalier with that. But the whole concept of you're in a war zone and you're getting shot at, you know, you'd be driving around the perimeter of the base to get to the other side to get some supplies, and the little Iraqi kids would start throwing rocks at you while they were out there herding, you know, their goats and sheep. Or you could hear shots being fired from the distance and hear the bullet flying by going, "Ooh, that one was close." And, you know, so you know these things are happening. Any day could be your last day, right? And if you listen to the lyrics of that song, it's like, if today was your last day, what would you do? Mm-hmm. And it hit me, especially when we had our conversation, you know, to get ready for this, because there was a meme I had saw. And of course, most of the time it was talking about, what would you do? Would you go spend money? Would you go crazy? You know, everybody go out, go party, go nuts, do whatever. And it went back and explained, like you said, well, Jesus knew when his last day was. And you know what he did on his last day? He washed feet. He, period, washed, period, feet. The King of Kings and the Lord of Lords that came and died for us the day before he died. Did he do anything for his glory? Did he do anything to get ready for the brutal torture and the crucifixion he would endure? No, he washed feet, including the one who would betray him, the one that would leave the table shortly thereafter and for 30 pieces of silver turn him in.